Talk to us about some of the specifics about what's actually changing in that platform.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot, but I've kind of boiled it down to four key areas. The first is that we're going to be tracking events over sessions. And so event actions will be tied to the user rather than to a session with GA4. And that's going to provide greater insight and help us optimize the user experience. So there's some good and some bad with that we've been seeing across the internet about people's feelings about that, but it will align more closely with that individual user experience. The second is that there's going to be deeper and more enhanced measurements across high volume interactions. So that could be things like downloads, video views, site search. There's going to be a way to capture all of that at a more aggregate level, and not have to go in and separate things out by individual tags like you might have experienced in GTM. It's going to be more grouped. So those are two big things. Now there's a lot that goes into that because there is some configuration that needs to happen, but those are two that we've seen a little bit more positive than negative about. The next pieces, so three would be cross-device tracking. That's going to be huge. It's something that we've been chasing after seemingly forever as digital marketers. But with GA4, cross-device tracking will be enabled through signed-in data from Google, as well as first-party data from signed-in experiences. So if a Google user is signed into their browser and other Google properties, advertisers will be able to gain a lot more information about the consumer journey. So the tricky part, I think, with that is just going to be making sure that we have that consistent the same visibility, I guess, for users who don't use Chrome as a primary browser, as well as those who perhaps don't have a Gmail, they're not on YouTube or anything like that, because again, those are going to be the primary sources of collection in GA4 for that single sign-on data.
Yeah, I think we understand, right? The closest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and
Yep.
tracking that user journey, it is never a straight line. So how can you find out where they came or what brought them back to the end goal? And that sounds like that's one of the big things this platform is going to try to do for us.
That's right. And then the fourth and final that I think was the scariest when I was looking through all of this to me personally is that channel groupings are going to vanish with GA4. And we're going to have to rely more heavily on medium. So that's going to become the new standard. And that can be scary to hear because custom channel groupings have been something we've relied on heavily for really forever to measure and optimize some of our channel performance. And so there's still going to be ways to get down to that source level as well with some of the reports that will be available in GA4. But that really just means that we will have to be more disciplined and have a more consistent approach to UTM parameters too across campaigns to make sure that everything flows in as we intend.